Guys, how are we? Just let us know that you can hear me all good.
Can hear you, mate.
All good, John. How you getting on, mate?
Aye, not bad. All right.
How's everything been going?
Aye, pretty good. Pretty good week, considering whole Christmas distraction thrown in there as well. You all
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, nice, nice. How was
Hang
your, how
on.
was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. I mean, technically, I'm supposed to be offshore, so everything was a bonus, really.
Yeah. Oh, so you weren't expecting to be at home. Happy days.
No, no.
Yeah, nice.
So it was good. Went down the road to my mum and dad are in Allendale now, so went down the road to Allendale. We had 14 for Christmas
Wow.
dinner.
So where's that? Where's Allendale?
It's just the other side of the Castle Carey Arches.
Right, okay, okay.
You know that little street looks like Coronation Street?
Aye, I know where you are.
Like, closer to the Castle Carey Arches, there's another group of houses there. That's where my mum and dad are, just there.
Ah, nice. Excellent. Full house then.
My brother, because I wasn't supposed to be coming, my brother was head chef as opposed to his usual role as supporting me. So it was a bit hard to work under him, to be honest. But we got through it. We got through it.
That's good, mate. That's good. Excellent. Jamie, how you getting on?
I'm good.
How was your Christmas?
Yeah, pretty quiet. We
Yeah,
I worked Christmas Eve,
yeah.
which that was a dead shift. That was horrible.
Oh, was there? So you didn't get an early knockoff or anything like that? You just still have to stay there till the death kind of thing?
We were we were meant to close at 6, and our store manager wasn't there, so I like begged him at like 3:30. I was like, "We're dead. Please let me go home at 5."
Yeah.
And he let us close the store at 5. We probably could have closed earlier, but we had a booking for 4.
Ah,
So
come on. Yeah.
we had to stay.
Who's booking at 4 o'clock on fucking Christmas Eve?
Some,
Oh,
someone who really wanted home internet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. Ah, no, that's all right. And you had a nice Christmas day.
Yeah, it was like just mum, dad, and my brother.
Yeah, lovely. Excellent. Good stuff. Um, does either of you have? It looks like it's just us three again. The last couple of weeks has obviously just been with people away on holiday and stuff like that. It's been a little bit quieter. Um, I'm assuming I thought there was going to be another couple coming in, but I'll watch out for them. Try to join the meeting maybe a little bit later, and that's one of the things as well that I'm sure you're aware of, Jamie. But even for yourself, John, like if there's ever something you just want to jump on and ask a question, and then just jump off for whatever because you just want to get some clarity around something. Um, then you can jump on, ask a question, get clarity on whatever it is that you're struggling with, and then if you need to boost, then that's absolutely cool as well. Like there's no expectation that you have to stay here through the whole time. It's just another point in the week to get some additional support and help, whatever that may be.
I've got a couple of questions. I don't know if you want them now or
Aye. Let's go now.
so. They're technical questions, really.
Yeah.
It's about the app integration. So my main apps for driving what I do and then recording are MyFitnessPal, obviously the new EverFit, but also Training Peaks.
Hmm.
So EverFit. So what's the problem here again? So yeah, what I eat doesn't come across into my what food have you eaten in EverFit, right? I'm assuming that's just normal, but the calorie targets I think are coming across. But there's a
Yeah.
discrepancy between my MyFitnessPal targets and my EverFit targets. I've not worked it out yet, but I get the feel it's probably the net calorie that it's looking for as a target, and they are synced up. But I don't know if I need to go back into MyFitnessPal and change the targets manually.
Aye, you need to set them manually. So in your MyFitnessPal right now, I'll share my screen and I'll just show you what I see on your end.
Because there was a couple of days I've looked at MyFitnessPal and thought, oh yeah, I've just come in and I've met my protein target, but then I've went on to EverFit and it's not quite met the protein target and just been over. And I was assuming that's because you've applied that 5% deficit or something like that.
No, so what I've got here is, as you can see, like I've got your daily averages, say for the last 7 days. or Monday to Sunday last week. Effectively, I've got your averages here. So that's your goals that I've set. So this is obviously you and Everfit. So all you have to do is set your targets to this 190, 370.
Right, okay. All right.
And then, but what I can see now, can you see this MyFitnessPal section that
Yeah.
I've got here? So I can see that yours is kind of manually set at 124 grams of protein, 82 grams of fat, and 309 grams of carbs. So just tweak that in order to show the true representation, and then oh, here's someone else coming in, and then just turn off those exercise calories as well. So you know how the exercise calories. So if you burn 600 calories, it adds 600 calories onto your target for the day. Have you seen that
Yeah.
in MyFitnessPal?
I have seen that. That's my godsend.
I know, but that's how you, because at the end of the day, when you work out your calories, you do your BMR times your activity level. So you've already factored in your activity anyway. And if we were seeing
Yeah.
in your position, if we were seeing performance and weight dropping at too quick a rate, then we would up those carbohydrates to find your total anyway. Because the mathematics side of it and um the specifics on the actual calories aren't anywhere near as important as the consistency, because the consistency becomes your accuracy over a longer period of time. I covered this the other week. Even on labels, they allow for about a 20%, or they say allow for about a 20%, up to a 20% error in what they report. So unless you've got a bomb calorimeter where we're actually finding out the exact amount of calories in the food, you're never going to get a true accurate representation, but you're going to get something that's consistent, and then that consistency just becomes your accuracy, and based off all your other biofeedback kind of metrics, then you make the adjustments off the back of that, as
Fine.
opposed.
So over the course of the last week, then, well, take Christmas Day out of the equation, but over the course of the last week where I've been training,
Mhm.
I've been looking at those training calories and thinking, I either can or need to eat a wee bit extra here, otherwise I'm going to bulk tomorrow or feel like shit. Or so I've been eating into that allowance that exercise has been giving me, and you've also given me a 1.5 activity level. So technically, I've actually been eating too much. So
I
I could probably scale
But
that
but
back.
but then even if we look at over the course of the week, so if you can still see my screen here, like if
Yeah.
this is accurate, then we're still kind of under for the week. Like unless that 1931 was actually there's maybe a meal missing, and maybe that's 2500 there as well, and then you could say, oh well, we're
No,
probably
everything's accurately recorded for the week. It was just a light day, I think.
yeah. So there you go then. So what matters is this, rather than any one day. What matters is this in terms of the rate of progress and things like that. That's what's going to determine. That's what's going to be the determining factor of it, rather than
Okay.
any. And this is exactly how things happen when. So say this was someone at the weekend or something like that, right? This and people when they have this all or nothing attitude, they would have a day like this and they would go, "Fuck it, I'm just going to go for it now. I've blown today and I'm just going to kick the ass out it." But if you had just went if say this 2200 was here and the 1900 was here, you just go, oh, well, it's 3400 yesterday. I'm going to go 1900 today, and then I'm just going to kind of go back to normal for the rest of the week. It all comes out in the wash. So, like, you can do it preemptively. So, if I had something on the weekend, I would just save a wee bit, bank a few calories along the week, and then I would allow for the weekend. Maybe this is 3,000 calories, and then I've banked a couple of hundred calories Monday to Friday kind of thing to allow for that as well. So this is what matters more than any one day in isolation. Does that
Cool.
make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense. Yeah.
So
Now,
you don't have to get too stressed out about it, or too worried about anything like that. All right.
yeah. Workouts wise, been good actually this week. So I've completed everything on Training Peaks, which is good for a Christmas week. And then, managed through the Everfit workouts as well. So still kind of learning. So what I found is I know tempo was a topic and the
Yeah.
pace of going through the workouts. But what I've tended to do is where there is a new exercise, so I'll watch through the videos for a specific set,
Uh-huh.
and then I'll do that set of exercises, and then I might have a bit of a longer break so that I can meet the tempo in that set by looking through the videos in each one, just making sure that I'm doing it properly. Because yeah, pretty novice when it comes to lifting and using the correct technique, etc.
And
So that's fine.
that's the thing. Like, see if you follow that, you'll never go wrong. And I've got another video that I'm going to hopefully try. I might not get it out this week, but I'll get it out next week, and it just shows actually what's happening with exercise tempo. So I use like a game scale that you can, like something you would weigh your luggage with, or you would weigh, like, it's for weighing meat effectively. But you can wrap that round a dumbbell, and you can lower the dumbbell slowly. So a 5 kilo dumbbell, you lower it slowly. It's 5 kilos all the way down. You drop it like this, and you just allow it to drop. You turn that 5 kilo dumbbell into a 2 kilo dumbbell, you know, at
Yeah,
stages. So like it just shows that accurate representation. It's not just for the sake of, just saying, oh, doing it with good form. Like there's something specific that we're actually looking at. It's physics at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like that, it's something that you can't really run away from. But hopefully that can help to paint that picture as well. Is there anything else?
yeah. The other thing is, so this makes sense now, actually. So my point was that the EverFit workouts weren't coming across and being represented in MyFitnessPal, and that's fine now because you've factored in the activity level, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, so that's good. That was the
yeah.
other thing. And then just quickly, I've got a week in Tenerife coming up, so I'm going to Tenerife for a week last minute. Just so I'll be away on the 9th. But it shouldn't really interfere with too much. I've chosen the hotel as I always do, with the gym and location in mind. So the activity levels will still be fine. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll like to have more time to work out than I would have when I'm at
Nah,
home.
you're fine. You're fine. Even like Christmas week, for example, 1 week in isolation makes no difference. You know what I mean, to your overall journey, and overall where you're trying to get to. So no, I appreciate that, but absolutely no hassle there whatsoever. All good.
Right, sorry to take up too much time. That's
No,
it.
no, no. You're absolutely fine. You're absolutely fine. Let me run. Is this open here? All right, got this one. So you can see this clearly here. Discipline over mood. Got it.
Yeah,
Everyone good to go. All right, we'll rip in. So how we're going to get the non-negotiables to stick, or how the things that have worked really well for me. How many times do we get to the point where we say, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll just, I'll put it off and I'll get to it, kind of thing, and then ultimately tomorrow never comes. The whole purpose of tonight is kind of try to bridge that gap between, the things we say we want to do, and actually getting them done. And these are just things that have really kind of worked well for me. And it's no because of laziness or because you don't want it. It's not for the lack of trying, but it's because we put too much emphasis on feelings ultimately. So this could an example of this, pack a bag, plan to train on Monday morning with good intentions. Wake up Monday, I'm too tired. I'll try and feel better. I'll go tomorrow when I feel better. Tomorrow arrives, maybe you're just as tired. You could be even more tired. You know what I mean? The cycle kind of continues, and it's the problem isn't isn't you necessarily. It's waiting to take action. It's waiting to rather than just going in and figuring it out. Wake up and feeling tired. There's so many people. I would probably say easily 95+% people. I could probably say 100% if I went through and looked at everyone's onboarding questionnaires accurately. But without looking at them, I could easily say 95% of people come into this program feeling like they're low on energy, feeling flat, feeling tired. And then the first thing, or one of the first things that we try and get people to start doing is exercising, more output, and then and then we feel more energetic for it. You feel more invigorated for it. Like it doesn't to the lay person that might not make a lot of sense. I feel shattered. I'm going to tell you to go and start exercising, expending more energy, and somehow that makes them feel better. So it can be a hard thing to kind of break into, but it's a fact that happens. You see it happen, and maybe there's a bit of motivation, maybe there's a little bit of um buy-in or whatever because you've invested in something, like you're motivated, and you're kind of driven to do it. But ultimately when you see within that first 4 week period is all about getting the energy levels and things like that up. So we already know that we're disciplined. There's already things that we do. We go to work, we look after the kids, we pay our bills, we brush our teeth, all these things that we don't. Nobody needs to tell us to do these things. It just it gets done. But the where I'm going to try and lean everything into tonight is around your values and around Dr. John DeMartini. I don't know if any of you know who this guy is or you've listened to any stuff. He's a human behavioral specialist. Um, he lives on I think he lives on a yacht, and he travels, or a ship, and just travels around the world delivering these seminars and talks. And I've been lucky enough to listen to a couple of his in person, online kind of events around values. He's actually got a free resource on his website where you can do your own values assessment. It's a 15 questions it asks you, and then based off of that, it gives you your values, because your values aren't what you want them to be. It's where you're spending your time right now, and oftentimes there can be a disconnect between what you think your values are, or what you would like your values to be, and what how you're spending your actual time and energy and money and effort, and what that kind of tells you about yourself, where your values actually are. And the good thing is, obviously, it's adaptable. You can change that, but you just have to be out. The first part of it, as much as anything else, is that kind of awareness. So his kind of core insight is it's not about discipline, needing more discipline or motivation. It's you need to understand the hierarchy of values, and where that kind of feeds in. So we already have maybe 7 to 10 kind of core values that are ranked in order of importance. The hierarchy determines where your discipline's naturally going to flow. Top three things, you're going to do these things regardless: mood, time, energy, no willpower needed, just it happens. You know what I mean? Middle values, like these are just things that happen automatically. Middle values, sometimes you follow through, sometimes you don't, depends on the circumstances. Bottom values need motivation, external pressure, and constant reminders to get started. So if you're not choosing whether to live by your values, sorry, you're not choosing whether to live by your values. You're always living by your values. It's just where you think your values are and what they actually are at this moment in time. Like, for me, everybody would say, and this is when I did this myself, I would say that my top priority, my top thing of importance was my family. That's the thing that I care about most is my family. But then when I went through this and I was seeing how I was spending my time, there was multiple factors where I was allowing my work to bleed over into family time and take more of a kind of precedence around that. And that was something that I had to confront, be aware of, and go, right, okay, I need to make changes here, because my work and being really good at my job, and focusing on that is something of a high value to me, but I do not want that to be more important than my family. I don't want to sacrifice my family life to have more emphasis on my career. And it always has to be family first for me. So then this kind of allowed me to get clear on that, and then kind of come up with a bit of a plan in order to reshuffle things a little bit there as well. And he's got lots of Spotify podcasts and all sorts of stuff out there. So if you can get your ears on any of his stuff, it's excellent. So where does health kind of sit? For most people, it sits low. Being healthier, it doesn't have a meaning. It's a kind of fluffy kind of saying. You know what I mean? I just want to grow older or age kind of well and things like that. Like it's not connected to anything right now. There's no immediate pressure right now, but things that would sit high, your kids, your work, your identity, you show up there regardless. You know, especially for myself, like before I did this, and I was working as an electrician, as a breakdown electrician on a mine site. Like, I loved being brilliant at my job. Like, it meant so much to me. We used to hate, like, if you handed over a fault to someone, you were out on a breakdown and you never sorted it out in that shift, and then you have to come in for handover and night shifts coming in, and you're having to go, oh, fuck, like, I'm having to give you this to deal with because I've known you. And it was something that would, like, everybody, or a lot of the boys were kind of scunnered with. We used to, there was a good core group of us who took a lot of pride in our work. And that's kind of something that I've taken into even my career now, like just a real deep pride in my work. So you don't need to value health more. You just need to link health. So this is the key on how you put more value behind a task. You link it to something that's already high in your values. So if being a present parent is high, then how could health factor in there? Health factors in by more energy to play with your kids, patience under pressure when they're testing your boundaries. I know all about that. And being around long enough to see them grow, and maybe and their kids as well. If being a leader is high, health equals mental clarity for big decisions, reliability your team can count on, setting the standard that others aspire to as well. So when health serves your highest values, it becomes a non-negotiable. You can already start to see that clear link between being the fittest, healthiest version of yourself and how that has carry over into other aspects of your life. And if you've went from not being particularly fit and healthy to bringing this into your life, or you're undergoing some of these transformations, or you're going through a process like this, or have done something similar in the past, you will be aware of the changes on how um when you improve your health, your fitness, your energy level, like you're just sharper, you're just on it. You know what I mean? You're able to make better decisions. For me at home, it definitely when I have had my own time to go out and exercise, and I've had my time in the morning. I come back to the kids and I'm like completely present, sit down. But if I've not, like, I would find myself, maybe a wee bit distracted or on my phone, maybe not giving them 100% attention. You don't give them enough attention, then they start acting up. Then you're having to kind of get on them. But I'm really getting on. This is my own experiences anyway. I'm getting on them, but they're just crying out for a wee bit of attention, and I'm not giving it to them. But when I've kind of ticked the box for myself in the morning, I feel like I'm just so much more able to come back and just give them 100% attention. It's not like they need it all day. Like, you give them 15 minutes of unwavering attention, like, for my kids anyway, they're just like, you see their faces light up. So when I start to link those things to that, there's just that positive feedback loop, and then it becomes part of your identity. So your values shape your identity. What you prioritize consistently becomes who you are. Your identity then drives your behavior. You act in accordance with how you see yourself, and then the behavior becomes automatic because it's aligned with your identity. That is who you are. Your actions no longer require any willpower. I'm just a guy who does this, or I'm just a guy for myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm doing it. Whatever it takes to get it done. If I've given you my word that I'm going to get something done, you can hang your hat on that, and that's something that means a lot to me in particular. So when you like health to your highest values, it's not optionable. It stops being optional. It stops depending on mood, and it just becomes part of who you are. And if you think about vision planning this for yourself, who do I want to be in 6 months' time, or where do I want to be, and then how is that person acting? What would their day look like now? Or what would their day look like compared to what my day looks like now? Do you know what I mean? So then it's your every day, you're taking a step towards those shoes. That's the place where you want to ultimately end up. So why do most non-negotiables fail? Because it would just be quite easy. Oh, just like it's just a non-negotiable. It's a kind of throwaway term. Something's, that's just a non-negotiable of mine. But far too often it doesn't work out that way. They're too big, they're too perfect, and there's too many at once. In short, they're just trying to, and I mean, this is a perfect time of the year for it. Coming into January and New Year, New Me, and people try to go from 0 to 100, and set standards that oh well, if training 3 days a week is good, then 4 days a week's excellent, 5 days a week's better than that, 6 days a week, all right, cool, I'll have a Sunday off. See how that goes. Hit 10,000 steps every single day. I have to just hit 10,000 steps every day, but their starting point's 3,000. Like, what? Let's get to 4,000 first. Let's get some wins on the board. Let's go. I feel like I'm checking a box rather than going a day after day by going, fuck, here's another day I didn't get 10,000. All right, cool. That just means I need to get 12,000 tomorrow to make up for the 2,000 that was short. And before it, you're chasing your tail, and you're just getting further and further away. Like, getting wins on the board is the biggest thing for just putting a bit of positivity back into the task as well. Like, when you feel like you're accomplishing things, it's a whole lot easier to get going than it is if, "Oh, fuck, there's another thing I missed," and that's kind of something that we looked at around the Christmas period as well. Nailing your macros to the gram. People getting so granular on, I have to be exactly 70 grams of fat or else it's fucking, like protein and calories. You nail that. We already see in the scientific literature in terms of body composition, we don't really see much difference at all in terms of the ratio of carbs to fats when protein and calories are equated. So we don't really have to worry about it. Performance obviously comes into it, but that's another discussion for another time. 8 hours of sleep every single night. If you're a parent, good luck. Doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Just make peace with it. You just do the best you can, and then what do? You auto-regulate the rest of the day. It's still a non-negotiable. I'm still going to the gym, but I'm just what I thought was on the table yesterday is not on the table. But there's still something. I can still go there and get something from the session. I can go there and reduce the load by 20% and work on technique. I can cut the session by 50% and just get in and get out. I could go there and just listen to a podcast and go on the stepper or whatever. Like there is always something. So the fix to this, rather than raising the ceiling, we want to raise the floor. You know what I mean? What's something that we can always do, irrespective of your worst day? If we get something that we can have, a win that we can get even on the worst day possible, then that's a sure way to be successful, rather than aiming for perfection every day. So 5 days a week, 10,000 steps, nailing my macros. It falls up. It can fall apart when life gets hard. No matter what, I'm going to hit my protein target every day, because I know if I hit my protein target, that's a big rock. Because if I hit my protein target, there's a very high likelihood I'm going to just be in the ballpark for my calories, just because we're generally going to be on that higher side of protein intake anyway. So we know that that's going to have a good carryover into other things, rather than getting really super focused on, like, people worry about like this specific exercise, all these fancy TikTok exercises to work on and it's more so women, the side booty, the back booty, the upper booty, and all this, like, and then people don't sleep 5 hours a night. You know what I mean? It is stepping over $100 bills to pick up nickels, effectively. So it's it's not what we want to be looking at. We want to be looking at the big rocks. If we can focus on that, then that's where we're going to get the biggest return on investment. Another thing that I think that is huge is keeping your word to yourself. Every time you say something and you don't stick to it, or you don't follow through that, it erodes a wee bit of that confidence, or it erodes a wee bit of that trust that you've kind of had in yourself. And I know when we had Paul on the call, when he was talking about his journey, like, he spoke about 10 years of repeated failures, or in his mind, repeated failures, his perception, and it just kind of built up that thing in his head. Like, I don't actually know if this is possible for me, even though we know it's possible for everybody to get to whatever body composition level, wherever you want to be. That's possible. Just needs the right amount of time, the right plan, something that you can do, something that you can adhere to. Thermodynamics hasn't changed since inception. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But that kind of confidence and the human behavior side of it has a big thing, has a big impact. And for me personally, like, it has became something that I'm just like really really proud of. That's something that I cling on to a lot. Like, if I'm going to do something, if I give anybody my word that I'm going to be somewhere or do something, like, if I say to my missus I'm cutting that grass, I go out there, it starts snowing. I'm cutting the grass. It's not good luck if it snows in Western Australia, but you get the point. I'm going to be doing it, and it's just something that I've kind of ingrained into my head, and it's came through repetition as well. It's came through proof. It's came through me promising myself something, me keeping my word on that promise, and then that promise delivering a favourable outcome. That kind of positive feedback loop being completed as well, and then keeping that standard internally, you start to see that external kind of gratification, or that external awareness of it. Your kids notice, your partner notices, people trust you because they know what you're all about, that you're a person who keeps your word to yourself. Or for me anyway, if if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, and people will know that. So a 7 day reset could be one promise, 7 days, just choose something. So it's a protein target, it's hitting a certain amount of steps, it's 30 minutes of training or 15 minutes of training or whatever it is. It's logging my food. It's in my bed by a set time. So this would either be either the biggest rock that you can focus on or the biggest area that you're struggling with right now. That's how I would choose which one here. And if you're unsure, then ask me and I can give you an idea. So I'm deciding in advance, even if things go to shit, I know I can get to bed by whatever time, 9:30. I know I can get to my bed at a decent hour. You know what I mean? Like if I've had a shit day, that's probably the best thing for it. I know I can hit my protein target. Like it's not difficult, real in the grand scheme of life and things that are difficult. You know that some of the things here that we're looking at aren't hard to achieve. And regardless of mood, I'm going to get it done. It's going to be done daily. It's a non-negotiable. And if this sounds easy or looks too easy, that's what it's about being easy. It's about getting some wins on the board before you add any further complexities. What happens if you miss a day? So what? You just get straight back on track at the nearest possible the nearest possible time that you can get back on track. You take that opportunity to get back on track. We spoke about this during the kind of navigating that Christmas period. If you have flexibility or if you have a night out or you have something planned, and you break the day up into quarters, getting back on track as soon as that quarter's over. So if a social event was in the evening, I was having a meal out, I was having a couple of drinks or whatever it is, cool. The first decision in that first quarter of the next day, so my breakfast for the next day, I'm straight back onto where I'm trying to get to. I'm not dragging out a hangover, a fry up. Not that necessarily any of those things in isolation are bad, but it's just where are we putting some bookends on the flexibility, or are we putting some bookends on the the things that maybe are aligned and the things that maybe aren't aligned with where you're trying to get to. Um, if you miss a couple of days in a row, just start the 7 days again. Start for day one. It's no That's not a failure. We just have to reset again. Set yourself a target again and go again. Um, Again, it's not about perfection. This could be anything. Like this could be cardio in the morning. This could be reading before you go to bed at night. It could be journaling. It could be whatever, something that you feel like is going to have a high impact. Um, that's where you want to focus your target. The big one that I brought in recently was building my power week. Writing out all everything that I need to do on a Sunday, or everything that I've got on the week ahead on a Sunday, and structuring and everything where it's going to happen. How many hours have I got available? How many tasks have I got that need to be done? What's the mismatch here? If I've got more tasks available than hours available, then cool. Some of these things aren't getting done. So I just prioritize things. The things that need to get done, the things that I need in my life in order for me to feel good, for me to feel happy, for me to be the best version of myself, and then whatever else in a kind of priority order. That's just something in my own experience has worked really well. Discipline isn't about doing everything. It's just about doing the things that you said that you were going to do. You know, we're not going to feel like it all the time, but that's part of it. If we only did things when we felt like we wouldn't have so many. If you only had to be, if you only had to be on it when you kind of felt like it, we wouldn't have a epidemic of people who are incredibly out of shape or unfit or unhealthy. Um, but the fact is, you need to be, and it just has to be something that you can stick to, something that's taking you, putting a step in the right direction. Um, and again, when you link that thing that you're trying to do, whatever it is that you're struggling with, to your highest values, you make a direct link between those two things. How this is going to allow me to show up in a better form at my work, how this is going to allow me to show up in a better form at home, how this is going to allow me to show up in a better form with, other my partner or my kids or whatever it is, whatever's the real big impact things, the things that mean the most to you, it becomes so much easier to get it done because it's not about motivation, it's about dedication. Dedication is just about getting shit done when because you said you were going to get it done, even when you've got every excuse not to. Um, and for me, it's about growing up, or my kids growing up as and knowing me as that person is when I say I'm going to do something, it's going to get done. If I say I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be there. If I say you can count on me, you can count on me. You know what I mean? And then that has hopefully has carry over into if they're struggling with things in their life, they know that they can come to me I say I'm going to be somewhere, they know that I'm going to be there. If I say to them, you can come to me with anything, they know that my word has meaning. So that's the kind of emotional driver for me. I mean, you keep it emotional. Again, that makes it easier to put a lot more value in it per se. Um, that's the last slide. Is there any questions around anything that I've been through there from anyone? All good? Uh, Stop sharing. All good with that? Oh, Tim's away. It's just uh myself and yourself. Does that kind of make sense, John? You gotta.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I think one of the things for me that sort of comes out of what you've just described is that this is work related, I think, and home life related as well. I tend to overestimate my own capacity sometimes and say yes to too many things. So I think learning to say no, understanding your capacities, your limits, learning to say no to the things that maybe are in your lower tiers of importance.
Mm.
And yeah, just not over promising and under delivering. Otherwise, yeah, you get that eroded trust that you described there. But oh, he says he's going to do that, but whether he manages it or not
Aye.
is maybe a different thing. So yeah, I think learning to say no is an important part of that maybe you never touched on. But I think you're talking about that anyway.
And always being on this side of under promising and over delivering is always where you'd want to be. You know what I mean? Always an easier sell or an easier place to kind of come from. Um, Having like saying no to things is definitely part of it, but sometimes it just comes from you just kind of think, nah, I should be able to. Like but if you have like how I've done like the Power Week or anything of that ilk, where you have a clear understanding of the hours available and what you have available, then it's like, right, I can do that, but you've also got me doing this as well. So where are these sitting? If I need clarification on priorities, then like maybe I'm asking if it's a superior, is this the clarification? Or I'm thinking I'll get this and then I'll get to that, you know what I mean? And then it's a clear understanding. Same way the discussions that I would have with Ashley as well, can I do this? And it's like, right, cool, I've got this stuff that this is quite high importance to me, like to get this stuff kind of done. Where does this kind of stuff come in? Then it's a wee bit of negotiation rather than just going, I just fucking lump it on like Buckaroo, you know what I mean? And then eventually it all comes off at some stage. But again, it comes through practice and it comes through an awareness of it, exactly how much capacity you do have, rather than just going, I'll just get it done. Because you will, you know what I mean? But there'll be a sacrifice for that.
And I think as a more work related, but when I'm asking people to do things,
Mm.
their response, like you've just described there, I should be able to manage that, or yes, I can definitely do that, is a very, very different thing, right? Because most of the time, if not all of the time, you're going to get it done with the second one, but most of the time, you're not getting it done with the first one. The
Aye,
language tells a story there. Yeah.
absolutely. What about yourself, Jamie? Does that have you taken something from that? Is there anything, any comment on that at all?
With the like right, you said like raising the floor with the non-negotiables. Is it could it like kind of work like stairs as well? So like I've like my non-negotiable for ages has been like my meal prep, like
Yeah.
getting that done for my lunches. That's like my standard now. And then like laying on like doing the elliptical after work now. It's like a step up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because that's already part of your identity now. Like it would be pretty inconceivable to see you reverting away from something like the meal prepping and stuff like that now, after you've put a fair bit of time and effort into making it something that sticks. And now it doesn't feel like a task. Like it's not a difficult thing to do now. I'm assuming, like, same with the meal prep thing for me. Like, it doesn't feel like a laborsome task. Going to the gym doesn't feel like a laborsome task. I'll tell people all the time, I'll wake up early before my alarm some days, like half an hour before my alarm buzzing, to get up and go to the gym. Like, people think I'm a bit mad, but that's the truth. And you get to that stage through. that kind of implementation process, and then seeing the positivity, like the return on the investment. And that's where you kind of get that buy-in as well. But yeah, absolutely. You just take that kind of next wee step up. It's like that, the same kind of view on progressive overload. What's the smallest incremental increase that I could make on to get an adaptation from this? What's the adaptation that I'm looking for? And what's the demand that I can put on myself to kind of increase the likelihood of that adaptation?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good. And it's so important that that kind of raising the floor. That's something that, has kind of always kind of worked well for me. Like if I'm like, I'm not going to get a workout in the day. Like so the last couple of Saturdays we've been driving up to Perth. I don't get my usual three supersets in, or two supersets and a giant set, and then 25 minutes cardio on the stepper after it, but I just go in and do half my workout and then just get out of there. And I'm like, oh well, half my workout is like a whole lot better than bugger all. And there was a time where that would have really ate away at me. Where I would have thought that, "Oh, I've left so much progress on the table by like leaving 20 minutes. It fucking doesn't matter at all." And then you maybe don't even go and bother on the Saturday because you're like, well, if I can't go in and do it properly, then there's no point in going in doing it at all, which again couldn't be further from the truth. So, no, you're definitely on the right path. Both of you are definitely on the right path with that. Excellent. If there's no any other questions, then I'll let you go. Hope you have a great new year, and wish you all the best for 2026. Hope it's a fantastic year for you, and I'll speak to you all very, very soon.
Cheers,
Thank
Liz.
you.
Cheers,
No
Tommy.
worries.
Bye bye.
Take care.